Hey, Brendan here. Welcome to the channel and thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Week 8 edition of the 2025 NFL Draft Rookie Stock Report. Jason DiRienzo, my podcast co-host, is back in the house. We're going to give you our 4 stock up players and 4 stock down players that you're going to be drafting in your 2025 rookie draft. So hit that subscribe button. You play Devy, Dynasty, C2C, any kind of fantasy format out there. This channel is dedicated to giving you an early look at the 2025 rookies. Thanks for watching. Let's get to the show. All right, Jason, let's get to our NFL draft stock rookie reports for this year. I'm going to kick us off, and I'm going to go with Cam Ward here. Just continuing to play well. He's not turning the balls over. He has 24 TDs on the season through week 8, 5 interceptions. His PFF grades are fantastic. His yards per average. This is what I think is the most impressive thing about Cam Ward's performance. All right, he was an incarnate Ward for 2 years, went to Washington State. He's a 5th-year player now in Miami. His yards per attempt is 10.3. It's usually been in the 7. So he is slinging the rock down the field, 68% completion percentage, kind of what we talked about earlier in the show. He has a lot of clean pockets, but he has the ability to make plays off script. And I know that NFL fans, scouts, and NFL fans love the plays, again, that he showed this week, rolling out to his left as a right-hander and whipping the ball 30 yards in the back of the end zone for a touchdown. These are the plays that are embedded in our brain that we see. Right. But he's rising up the NFL draft boards right now. You know, we got Milroe, who hasn't been playing great. Carson Beck is kind of falling down the leaderboard. He may actually come back and play again at Georgia next year. I believe he has 1 more year of eligibility. But Cam Ward is solidifying himself as one of the top 2 quarterbacks right now in the NFL draft. And so he has got to be my stock up player for week 8 here of college football.
Yeah, he's playing out of his mind, but you're right. The amount of time that he had to throw the ball is crazy. And I'm gonna talk about his receiver. My stock up guy is gonna be Xavier Restrepo. And honestly, when I first evaluated Restrepo last year, I didn't know what to make of him because a lot of the stuff was at the line of scrimmage, and I thought maybe he's just this gadget guy, and he's got that fluid, explosive ability to gain yards after the catch. But he's a lot more than that from what I see this year. He's got nice separation ability. He's a fluid navigator. I love the mechanics. And honestly, he can move defenders with his eyes and his body gestures. And I think he's very manipulative as a receiver too. And he shows good hands. So he is developing a lot more from what I saw of him last year. So Xavier Restrepo is for real. And he's stock up absolutely for sure.
Yeah, he is just, I call him like the blue collar slot receiver, right? Just tough, physical,
so consistent, man.
He is. And he's had like 2 plays in 2 straight weeks where he's catching the ball when he's laying on his back on the, I mean, his hand-eye coordination is just outstanding. It's just is really good. You know, where he fits in an NFL roster. I mean, he's going to be a slot guy in the NFL. There's no doubt.
Yeah, he's definitely a slot guy.
So it'll be interesting to see where he gets drafted. The second guy I want to talk about is a guy we were kind of poo-pooing a few weeks ago, but he's been kind of emerging, and we've been waiting to see a little Evan Stewart love at Oregon, right? And the last 2 weeks, Ohio State, 7 receptions, 149 yards, and a TD last week. This week against Purdue, 4 catches, 96 yards. Maybe he's just getting slow to get acclimated, but Gabriel's finding him right now. So he is, he's been really playing well. So he has to be a stock up. I mean, he was probably a top 5-6 receiver for us. I know we did a lot of all 22 film reviews this past summer, and we liked his route running ability. He does seem a little light for that 6 foot. It says he's listed at 6 foot 175. I'm going to bet he's more 5'11". I think that's what he is, 6 foot. I mean, but I don't think he looks. But
yeah, I think he was listed as that when he was coming out of high school too.
Really, I'm going to look real quick. But anyway,
a little bit of a Troy Franklin type of frame.
Yeah, a little bit. 6 foot 175. That's what it says. So he's probably a little bit smaller. But Evan Stewart's been playing well. Let's see how he rides out the season. Oregon Ducks could end up going to the NFL or the college football playoffs and winning the whole damn thing. And Evan Stewart may be a part of that. So he's my second stock up player.
Yeah, that's a good call, and I love to see it too. My next stock up guy is going to be Florida wide receiver Elijah Badger. And man, DJ Lagway has helped uncork Elijah Badger. He played out of his mind this last game this weekend. And I love some of the deep threat ability that I saw from him. The hands were phenomenal. Some of the grabs he made were just eye-opening. Really impressive stuff. And I think if this connection between Lagway and Badger continues, Badger's going to be soaring up the board. So Elijah Badger for sure is a stock up for me.
Yeah, he's been really consistent. First 3
Yeah.
years at Arizona State, probably didn't have the quarterback play, but he had 2 solid years, man. 2022, 800 yards, 2023, 700 yards.
Yeah.
So he's been productive. He's just been under the radar because no one really watches Arizona State, games. I guess not a lot of NFL talent on the offensive side of the ball come from there. So he goes to the SEC and is killing it. Gotta love it for his draft stock. I love that call. That's a great pick today. All right, so we got to talk about our guys that are maybe underperforming, and my stock down player has to be Carson Beck. He came in the college football season for a lot of people is the number one after last year's performance, but this year, man, he looks, he makes good plays, but he just hasn't had those wow moments. You're like, oh yeah, like this is the guy. I mean, this week against Texas, this was a big game for Georgia, right? He had zero TDs, 3 picks. Just didn't look very comfortable. 56% completion percentage now. In his defense, he lost his 2 main targets last year. And there's no tight end who's emerging right now for Georgia. The wide receivers are a bunch of jags for me. I mean, there's really no alpha on that team that I believe, trusts to go up and like vertically go get the ball or have the possession receiver like Lad McConkey. But that would just be an excuse. I mean, it could be part of it, but he's just not playing well. I don't think he navigates the pocket really well the last few weeks. So he's got to be a stock down player. I think his confidence is maybe getting rattled a little bit, especially after that Alabama game where he threw 3 picks but came back and played well in the second half 4 weeks ago. And it just doesn't seem like he's recovered from that. And I think he's under a lot of scrutiny right now. And intangibles might be getting to him. He's heard a lot of chirps out there right now, falling down draft board. So he's got to be a stock down player this week.
Yeah, I mean, based on how he's been playing, I don't think there's any other way to look at him. My stock down guy is going to be Kentucky wide receiver Deion Brown, and I know that he had a really nice touchdown catch in this previous game, but he also had another really bad drop that led to an interception. Those hands and his size are an issue, and I keep saying it, but unfortunately, I keep seeing the same things, and I think separation ability at the next level is going to be a problem too, based on his lack of physicality. So Deion Brown, I think, might be viewed a little bit more as a special teamer, especially since the fact that we saw him on a really good kick return for a touchdown this last game. I think that is what's going to get him the attention of the NFL, is maybe more of his special teams ability, which doesn't help us in fantasy. And for that, he's going to be a stock down.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of buzz. You and I, we never saw. We watched his all 22 film this summer.
Yeah,
we said the balls are clanking off his hands. It's a problem. Over the place. Yeah, it is. So I want to talk about another wide receiver that people were excited about, thinking could be a potential top, I think 5, 6, 7 wide receiver in the draft next year, and that's Deion Burks. All right, he's playing, at Oklahoma right now. He's been dinged up the last couple of weeks, so he hasn't played. He's been respectable, with 200 yards and 3 TDs, but he is 5'9", 180 pounds. And I'm just not sure. He's a slot guy, plays 86% of his routes in the slot. And I just don't know what kind of NFL projection from a fantasy standpoint. I look at him with his physical build and his size, and he reminds me of Wan'Dale Robinson, who I really liked coming out of Kentucky a lot.
Yeah, I did too.
Now, and now he's playing for the Giants, and I kind of traded for Wan'Dale Robinson this year. I really like him as a player, but he's going to be capped because Deion Burks is going to be nothing but probably a wide receiver 3 on an NFL roster. So I think he's going to struggle to get targets. So I'm going to just be a stock down. He hasn't been playing a little bit. And even when he had a really great game against Temple. And other than that, the quarterback room, they're all over the place. They just fired their offensive coordinator this week. So I just have a feeling that Deion Burks is, when he comes back from injury, he's going to struggle to regain the momentum going to the NFL draft, unless he just has some amazing performances. So that's why I have him as a stock down player.
Yeah, I think that's a good call based on the production profile that we have and just the opportunities had this year too. But yeah, my next stock down guy is going to be Maryland running back Roman Hemby. And what helped me with this saying he's a stock down is watching that young kid, Nolan Ray, side by side with him. Now, I think Hemby is a very tenacious runner. He's got good contact balance. He's physical. He's a decent pass catcher. Reminds me of Cody Schrader a little bit. And unfortunately, we haven't seen much of Cody Schrader. And even the NFL draft, the projection didn't go as well as some thought it might. And I think that's what I think that might be the path for Roman Hemby as well. I think he's just kind of a guy. Even though I love the competitiveness, I just don't know if I see an NFL running back. So for that, he's definitely a stock down.
Yeah, he's going to be a UDFA. There's no, in my mind. So there you guys got it. That is our NFL draft rookie report for week 8.